Well, howdy, all you collector car fans out there. It's Jason from Southern Bush Motorsports. I am the owner and founder of Southern Bush Motorsports. I'll tell you in the beginning of the tale, so people that don't want to stick around don't need to. I'm going to be doing a series or per se classes for future generations, so they don't get burned when they're buying one of these old classic cars. So this is called Survivor Part 2. So what we're looking at here is a 71 Challenger 318 two-barrel car. It is a classic example of a grocery getter. But it is also a classic example of a car that's never been touched. It's never been taken apart. It's never been restored. It is a classic grocery getter, and nothing has ever been done to this car. So as you're potentially looking at this car, these are my opinions, but they're pretty knowledgeable opinions. That's a build sheet. That's what rolled down the car's assembly line with the car and then got stuck into the car. That's exactly how a car was built off that sheet. So when you're looking at a car like this, is it a 6-pack or a 440 or a big block? Nope, it's a grandma car. It's a 318 two-barrel. It's a pretty solid car. It's an incredibly solid car. That's the original vinyl top on it with heat baked into the metal, but it's the original vinyl top. So with a car like this is a true survivor. It's not pretty, I had a comment that survivors come in different stages, and they do. They definitely come in different stages and different situations and all that stuff. But with a car like this, it's not. It is a very solid car. It is a survivor. It is a 318 two-barrel. But if you wanted this car to be nice, you got to take it apart. And it's the only thing you can do. The car has to come apart. Now you're looking at possibly 2 to 3 years of not seeing the car. It's only a 318 car, so it's not holding a lot of value. So if you put 50 grand in 2 to 3 years worth of time into this car, when it's done, you might get your money out of it, maybe a little bit more. If it was like this exact same car, but it was a 383 car, you definitely get your money out of it. And then it starts going up to the bigger engine sizes, and you're making lots of money. Most people would not put the time and money into restoring this car, only because it's such a risk of getting your money back out of it later on if you really needed to. If you were going to build, say, like a Hemi, what are they calling it now, clone, tribute, I think both of them are really cute. And this would be a really good start for that, but right here I'm charging you a Survivor car price, so you're wasting a lot of money if you're just going to tear the car apart and put some crazy motor in it and all that stuff. There's my van and trailer setup. It's a really cool setup that I used to travel around with. Those vans were camperized on the inside. But, this is where, honestly, a car like this, I wouldn't restore it. I'd keep it right the way it is and drive it around. It'd be a fun little car. I don't care if cars are restored. You'll get as many turns out of people's heads at a gas station with this than anybody with a brand new car. But the whole point of this series, the part 2 of the series, was to documentation purposes. It could also be for somebody that's got a 70 Challenger that happens to stumble across this video and is like, oh, that's where that part goes, or oh yeah, that's where this part goes. And that's also important for me to document it because of that. So it's a super solid car. It's not missing nothing. Everything down to the radio knobs are there. It was running and driving. I drove it around for a little while before I sold it. It's fun. Those 318s got a bit of kick up and go to them. There ain't no question. I could light the tires up in it. Not for very long, but definitely light the tires up in it. And it was a fun car to drive around, but car needed to be restored, needed to have things fixed on it, and it's an old car. But look at the quarters on it. A little bit of bubbling. With the car being so solid and so complete. I mean, honestly, it would be a shame to buy this car to make a retro mod car or make it something other than it wasn't, a tribute or whatever you want. I mean, it would be a great place to start because look how solid it is. Even the driver's quarters not buggered up or rusted or anything. But, with the car being a survivor car in the real world, even though it's not a rare survivor car, I still hold value to this car. You got a driver's windows a little bit messed up. I still hold value to this car as the survivor car, so I was asking a little bit more of a premium for it because you're talking half the money that you spend on restoring a car is on the bodywork, at least half of it. and there's very little body work needed to be done to this car, and I knew that. So either way, the whole point of this series is for people to see that probably don't know or may not know what the difference is and why you should or shouldn't buy a Survivor car. People will do it for different reasons. Like if this was just like a 383 or a 440 or something bigger than that car, I honestly wouldn't even restore the car. I know that the car brings a lot more money when it's restored, but if I had a 440 71 Challenger that was the exact same car as this, I wouldn't even restore the car. I would leave it the way it was and keep it original, because that's the authenticity of the car for me. I mean, that driver's quarter. Where have you ever seen a 71 Challenger with a driver's quarter that wasn't rotted out? And you can see it's not rotted out. The car was super solid. It was an undercoated car, probably been sold out in the north there. Obviously some water going on the ground there, but the floor pans were still good. Honestly, when I picked this car up, I didn't even want to sell it because it was so odd to find a car that was completely untouched. Like it just never happens. You never see them anymore where they're completely untouched. But this happened to be a car that there was this car, and if I remember right, another 70 Challenger that I picked up from the same family, and they just were everyday cars that the family drove. Like I said before, I hope this helps somebody that might be restoring a 71 Challenger 383 or 440 and their car was all taken apart and stuff. This could be a good video example of what your car actually looked like when it was all together. You know, hopefully it can help somebody that way. But if you really take a look at the car, it's just, man, this is the way it came from the dealership. You know, a little rougher looking, but the cigarette lighter was still in the ashtray. The ashtray didn't even look like it had been used very much. The stickers are still on the door from the factory. A couple tire changes too, by the looks of it. Back seat doesn't even look like it got used that much. Everything was all clean and clear back there. Car didn't leak because I actually drove it when it was raining once. Once I pulled that passenger side glass in, I really don't know why it was sitting out like that. It was just a little bit off on the tracks, and I fixed that. You know, and all the little bells and whistles there, all the knobs are still there. And 150 mile an hour gauge in it. And these cars, when it got up and go, they did pretty good. But you know, like I said, it was nothing fancy. You know, looking at these pictures after so many years, I really shouldn't have sold that car. I really shouldn't have. I should have just, you know, let it be and let it stay with me. But you know, I just can't keep all the cars that I find, and I find so many from back in the day. But even the dash pad's not that bad on that car. You know, it's the door jambs are good. The trunk was good on it. Look, the trunk floor itself definitely it really needed to be replaced. But it wasn't completely rotted out. I think I have a couple pictures of it. It wasn't totally rotted out. I'd like to know what those little marks are, the P's there. Anybody know, you know, let me know in the comments, because I've seen them on a few of the cars. But, you know, the trunk really needed to be replaced just because there was stuff sitting in the trunk that caused it to rot out like that. Some paint and stuff like that. But, yeah, it was couple spots that went through. It still held its weight, but, you know, it needed to be replaced. That was about the only thing on the car that did need to be replaced. You know, the firewall was good on it, so I took a picture like that. But she's old. She's a really old car, and there's the fender tag on it. So it's 318 car G. There's the G for it. Fender tag was still in place. Here we get into the engine compartment, and this could be the part that might really help somebody that's got a car that was taken apart, so you can see where things actually went, how the wiring harnesses ran and everything, because it's, you know, the car's completely untouched. Nothing's been done underneath the hood of it. The battery that's in that car, I put that in there just so I could get things started up, because everybody had been pushing the car around and pushing in that, pushing it here, and I don't see cars that way. I know what I want, so I put a battery in it. Wouldn't turn over. I stuck some sprayed some transmission fluid into the cylinders, put the plugs back in, let it sit for a day, came back and fired right up. Smoked a little bit, but it fired right back up. You know, that's the original motor right there. Well, it looks like it was an AC car too. That'd be a pretty cool little car back in the day. Yeah, it's an AC unit. You know, I've owned some pretty cool, fancy, high-end, big motor cars, and I thought this car was really cool. I've got six packs and Hemis and Yenkos and Superbirds and Daytonas. I've owned all of them, and I really like this car because it was just so completely untouched. And that, you know, just because it's a survivor car doesn't mean it's a survivor car that somebody would actually spend the money to restore. And this is a good example of that. This car had all the right makes, and boy, I'll tell you what, if this car was a Hemi car, I'd be rich. But it was just a 318 two-barrel car. And it's funny, there's still some grass snagged up on that underside there because I actually had to pull this thing out of the field. Because they just, it's the same situation that I've talked about in many videos before. Once they took the lead out of the gasoline and they had to put unleaded in these cars, these old cars, they ran like crap. They literally ran like crap. They sounded like diesel engines, and people just parked them and just got a newer model car. Because to get the heads fixed and all that, it wasn't worth it. Super solid underneath. So, I mean, I hope this video helps someone in some way. It's kind of a, you know, everybody kind of expects me to show the real cool finds and stuff, but I also want this to be teaching lesson for people in the future. So I really hope you enjoy this Tales from the Bush, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Also in the description there, you'll see a super thanks button beside the share button. It would be grateful if you could help me out there. Thanks for coming by.